What up? It's your girl Super. It is March the 2nd. It is March the 2nd. We are back. We are back after a brief station identification. Turn this. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear me. If you're in the building, say something in the comments so that I know that you're here. We got quite a bit of information to get through tonight, even though I'm not going to keep you long. We do have quite a bit of information to get through tonight. You see that tonight's live is about turding. It was so funny because I was trying to get the name, how I was going to title this tonight. So I was like, Turd-Lington has a nice ring to it. But anyway, we're going to talk about the development that is coming to Harvey. And we have some information to give out. Again, I just report the news. I don't write it. I just report it. I don't want no smoke with nobody. I just want to report the news. What's up, Jim C? I wonder if anybody else is going to say anything. It's probably just people over here being nosy. And I don't even know why they over here if they not going to speak. Because I don't see the point. Because I don't really waste my time anymore going to pages that of people I don't like. Because I'm just not finna sit there and waste my time just to see what you got to say. And I don't have anything to say about anybody. Ain't no drama over here. We getting educated over here. And that's about it. You want to learn something? Come on in. But speak. You know, you got to have some banter back and forth with the host. You know, makes the show go faster, makes the show seem better. What up, Dave Bryson? What it do? What does it do? Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Since you're over here watching and wasting your time, if you're not going to speak, then just make sure that you like, share, subscribe to the videos, to the channel. I want to say hello to all my Twitter viewers, to everyone that is viewing me on Twitter. Let me check and make sure that we are okay. The other day they were having some problems with Twitter. And can you all hear me? Okay. Is everything coming through okay? Okay, we live on Twitter. Make sure you are live on Twitter. All right. Let me see. Okay, nobody else want to speak? 14 of us in here, and nobody wants me to say hey to them. Okay, cool. From now on, I'm just going to keep on moving on. All right, we're going to talk right now. We're going to talk right now about this particular development company, or I don't even know what to call it really at this point, but they are labeling themselves as Turd-Lington Homes. That's how they are labeling themselves in Illinois. And so we are going to find out a little bit more about Turd-Lington Homes, and we're going to get a little bit into who these people are, because I feel like it's very important to know what businesses you are accepting into your community, who are the business owners, who are the people that are involved. We learned that from the Dalton time, right? That you need to know, who these specific people are. You know, what is their background. Now, you may do with the information whatever you will. I'm just here to give the information. Again, I don't write the news. I just report it. And I don't want no smoke with nobody. I'm just going to report what I find. So let's get into it. So this right here is the development company. I wouldn't even say this is the development company. This is what they're calling the homes. They're calling them Turd-Lington homes because, and this is the website. I'll link it to this video when I'm done with this broadcast. I will link this in case you want to go and browse the website. I want you to feel free to do so. They are calling themselves, as far as a business, Turd-Lington Homes. However, it seems to be powered by this global real estate development. And we'll get into a little bit more about that. Okay. The first thing that we are going to do is we are going to look at the agenda from Harvey. So this particular group showed up on the October 27th Harvey agenda. They showed up under new business. It was the only item of business besides for minute approvals and bill approvals. It was the only item after that. And if you do recall, Mayor Christopher Clark was still alive at this point. Okay. And so the resolution was a resolution approving a redevelopment agreement by and between the city of Harvey and Turd-Lington Homes, Inc. This resolution was subsequently passed by the 4 Alder yes-men, and it became Resolution 4016. So if you want to, if I don't even know if Harvey has their resolutions on the site, on their website, but if they do, this ended up being Resolution 4016. Okay. Now, with that being said, let's take a little bit of a look back at what some of the Harvey residents had to say about this particular venture. Okay, y'all let me know if y'all can hear it. I'm gonna play a little bit of the finance meeting before I get to the comment that I want to get to. This is the place where Tyrone showed his real self at the finance meeting, because there was a finance meeting before the board meeting that passed this resolution with this agreement with Turd-Lington Homes. So I just want to make sure that you all can hear the page, because we've been having some minor issues with sound. So please come to order, and please put the room in order. Thank you. Put the room to order. Thank you. Because some things said it should not have been said. Okay. At this point, all of this we have 4 middle officers escorting out this 4 ward resident, and she was just simply speaking her mind. Please come to order. And then please come to order. Yes. Okay, well, you're all able to hear that. I hope you all were able to hear. Okay, yeah, you were. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the public comment that was about Turd-Lington Homes. Let's see. Let's see here. This was the finance meeting. This particular meeting was packed because of the layoffs All of those people you see in green were the people from Public Works that were laid off. And this public comment that we are going to hear is from a resident in Harvey, and her name is Amanda.
Today, another hectic Harvey City Council meeting. So I just wanted to point out three things. Number one, the special meeting on Thursday when you had the presentation saying that because of the previous administration, we inherited $164 million in debt. My concern that there was nothing in the presentation that said in the 7 years that you sat in that seat, what have you done to reduce the debt? You guys threw some numbers around in today's finance committee meeting, but there's nothing concrete. And as a girl who works in corporate America, if it ain't written down, it never happened. Number two, with the finance committee meeting, I understand that we have to pay bills, and it was noted. However, in a time of financial distress, much like your personal finance, you pay the necessary bills.
Yes.
You are not gonna sit here and tell me that 3 months worth of bills that you all went over, every single one of them was necessary, the lobbyist wasn't necessary, the payment for the gospel concert wasn't necessary, communications department is not necessary. I'm not, in a time of financial distress, ChatGPT can write press releases. We can do our own social media handles in a time of financial distress. So again, I understand that things have to continue to run, but you pay what is necessary until you are in a better financial footing to pay for the extra things, including 2 law firms that we're paying for, Ansel and Link in Montana and Welch, to represent the municipality that's already broke. And we're shelling out over $500,000 to represent us. That doesn't make any sense. And number 3, like my fellow neighbor here touched on, Turd-Lington Homes Inc. Who are these guys? John Norquist, and according to the Secretary of State Business Registration, John Norquist and David Haslett, which are attorneys, one guy's in Jersey, the other one's here. It just feels like we're doing a fire sale to some legal friends downtown. And that's unfair. And much like Chicago and other neighboring cities, there are programs in place where if a neighbor or someone that has ties to the community wants to purchase a vacant lot or purchase something next to them, they should be able to, with some type of incentive in place. These things are being done in other neighboring cities, but we just continue to act like this is a liquidation of the city of Harvey. I understand we're in financial distress, but don't sell it off to your legal friends. That's just completely unfair to the residents. And also, I want to say, when are we going to get a financial audit of any kind? It just bothers me that on the website, it's only the 2019 audit, which in my opinion, you guys would just shuffle the paper just to get the audit numbers from 0 to 5, go from 0 to a 1. We still don't know the true financial health of this town. And even with the Department of Revenue, when they make their report, we don't even know broken down where is the bulk of the money that we make from the city of Harvey, without somebody mounted it. We need to document it. Come on.
And again, Amanda, thank you for asking the question. Who are these people? Who is Turd-Lington Homes? Let's take a quick look inside who Turd-Lington Homes is. And as Amanda mentioned, and if you would, please just like the video, share, subscribe. Feel free to super chat, cash app, whatever you do, to help move this channel forward. If you feel like you want to see this channel move forward. All right. Amanda, thank you for asking that question. Thank you for asking who is Turd-Lington Homes. Let's look at who Turd-Lington Homes is according to Alexi Janulios, who is the Secretary of State currently. According to Alexi, Turd-Lington Homes was founded or incorporated or LLC'd on 10/2/2025. Okay, 10/2/2025. Let's look again, the meeting where the agreement was passed with the city and Turd-Lington Homes was October 27th, 2025. Filed with the Secretary of State October the 2nd, 2025. Put on a meeting agenda October the 27th, 2025. Prior to this meeting, Julian Rucker, if anybody knows Julian Rucker, tag him to this video or send this video to him. I think there's some information in here he might want to know. All right. Prior to this meeting, Julian Rucker showed up to a meeting and gave public comment. His public comment was that he had been trying to reach the city, in particular, the gentleman in charge of real estate for the village, because he was trying to purchase some property off of the Harvey, we'll call it a land bank list. He had $350,000 of his own money, from his own money, $350,000 from his own money that he wanted to reinvest in Harvey, in his community, because he actually lives in the 6th ward of Harvey. Julian Rucker, developer. Yet, Turd-Lington Homes, as I just showed you, I don't want no smoke with nobody. I'm just reporting the news. And Amanda asked, who are these people? I felt it was my job and my duty to let her know who these people were. So here we are again. What's up, Wyoming gal? Turd-Lington Homes. They got their Secretary in Illinois, October 2nd. October 27th, 2025, they showed up on an agenda for a redevelopment agreement by and between the city of Harvey and Turd-Lington Homes. That's my first alarm bell. Just established in Illinois in October 2nd, 2025, already on an agenda, October 27th, 2025. I mean, stay with me. There's a timeline of things that we're going to walk through, okay? I remember being at a meeting in Harvey and somebody talking about nobody responding to them. I'm not sure if it was the same person, but definitely people aren't getting responded to. Correct. Okay, so we have the timeline of the business filing and the business being in and going on an agenda for a resolution between them and the city. Okay. Now that we have that timeline straight, let's go here. AITQ, that's us. AITQ is us, okay? AITQ has obtained the redevelopment agreement by and between the city of Harvey and Turd-Lington Homes. But before we get there, just wanted to let you know we have it. We're going to be going over that tonight. There are a few highlighted and things in there that we need to particularly pay attention to because, as I said, Julian Rucker, who is a developer in the city of Harvey and is also a resident in the city of Harvey, had $350,000 of his own money, not asking for any incentives, not asking for any help, and wanted to purchase properties in the city of Harvey. I want you to keep that in the forefront of your mind. Thank you. All right. Now, keeping that in the forefront of your mind, we want to talk about Amanda, because Amanda asked, who are these people? Okay. So, one of the persons that is involved in the Turlington homes. I don't know if you would call it a board. I don't know if you would call it call them an owner. I really don't know what their status is. I just know that this person is involved. This person is John Groff, and he is the uh, administrator at the Lento Law Group. They actually call themselves LLG National Law Group. So the Lento Law Group, National Law Group, what they call themselves. Okay. Now he is listed as the firm's administrator. Oh man, I gotta bring something up. Hold on one second. Whew. It's gonna be one today. I'm gonna make it bigger so you all can read along with me. One second, let me enlarge this. Okay, so he is the firm's administrator or office manager. The Virginia State Bar disciplinary filing explicitly refers to Groff as a non-attorney employee. I don't write the news. I just report it. Okay? That's it. The Supreme Court appendix describes Groff as a paralegal / office manager. Non-authoritative New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Virginia bar roll entry found identifying him as a licensed attorney. I found no such licenses as far as law is concerned attributed to Mr. Groff. Okay, let's see what else we know about. So Mr. Groff works for Joseph Lento. Okay, let's take a moment to switch over to Joseph Lento, because as Amanda mentioned, John Norquist, if you look at the thumbnail for this video, John Norquist is in the middle. He is the middle picture, and he is an attorney that is listed here in Illinois, up in Park Ridge, Illinois. Okay. Global real estate development, right? From what I could gather, is owned in part by Joseph Lento, possibly John Groff. There's a New Jersey man that is involved, as Amanda mentioned, but he's also an attorney. He's an attorney in New Jersey. So oftentimes people use attorneys to represent them when it comes to filings with Secretary of State. You can have a registered agent. The registered agent does not have to be yourself. It can be a law firm. It can be anybody that you designate. That the only thing that the Secretary of State filing does is say that this person is responsible to make sure that we file all of the proper tax forms, we renew, we file our financial filings with the revenue offices of these respective states. That's the only thing that denote. Okay, so let's find out about Joseph Lento, because if you see John Groff, then you get Joseph Lento, and these are the Amanda asked, who are these people? So that's how we got here. Okay, so Joseph Lento, actually, I don't know how to phrase this, was a lawyer. He is a lawyer. Okay, that's what he went to school for. Okay, however, the state of Pennsylvania Supreme Court ordered a 5-year suspension that was handed down December 19th of 2024. So that means his law license is suspended in the state of Pennsylvania from now until 2029. 5-year suspension in Pennsylvania. In my great state, my great home state of Virginia, the Virginia State Bar revoked his privilege to practice in Virginia altogether. He cannot practice in Virginia at all, effective May 16th, 2025. Virginia don't play. That's the state of the Commonwealth. They do not play, okay? They do not play. They say he cannot practice at all. Never, okay? Disciplinary findings include issues involving diligence, supervision, fee handling, and client communication. U.S. Supreme Court petitions were filed seeking a review of the following state disciplinary actions: multiple jurisdictions affected, limiting ability to practice law. Board consideration: there are significant professional sanctions issued by state Supreme Courts and disciplinary authorities. So right now we have Pennsylvania, 5-year suspension, Virginia, total revocation, and I believe Michigan may be one of them. However, that's not listed. So right now, Pennsylvania, Virginia. Pennsylvania, 5 years. Virginia, at all. Is the reason he can't practice law. We getting ready to get into that on Wyoming Gal. Just hold your horses. You know how we do over here. You know, we have to make sure that we thoroughly, get everybody up to speed. So, here we are. So now let's talk about what happened for the revocation in Virginia. Not too many details about what happened in Pennsylvania, although we're going to go look at it. Okay? But I want you to listen as we read what happened in Virginia, okay, to cause the revocation. This is for Virginia, the revocation of Joseph Lintel's law license in the state of Virginia. This is the law office that John Groff is currently the administrator for. They called him the office manager, I believe it was. And so let's see why he was revoked in Virginia. It says misconduct. The previous pages, they didn't do anything but list all of the people that were in the room and all of the people that were testifying via in person or, video, or if they wrote an affidavit. Okay. Anybody that wants any of this information, just feel free to email me, and I have a PDF file that I'll send you that has all the links to these court cases. Okay? All right, now, this going to get interesting. So make sure that you are listening closely. Let me get this microphone up here. Okay? I know the microphone might be in the way, but it's not about me. It's about the information. Okay? All right. So now, and listen, don't you go out there and say that Super said. Somebody put in the chat what you're supposed to say. Super red. Super didn't say super red. Okay? I don't make the news. I just report it. I don't want no smoke with nobody. Okay? I don't write the news. I just report it. All right? So, let's go. The board made the following findings of fact based on clear and convincing evidence. The respondent is not admitted to practice law in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Respondent was licensed to practice in the state of New Jersey and the state of New York at all times relevant to the allegations of certification. Respondent was licensed to practice law in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania until November the 19th, 2024. Respondent began practicing law in 2008. And again, we are referencing Joseph Linto. Respondent is the founding attorney and a majority shareholder of the Linto Law Group, PC, between 2008 and December 2024. He was the sole owner and managing attorney of the Linto Law Firm, a separate complementary law practice to Linto Law Group. Linto Law advises and markets itself as a national law firm that specializes in education matters. In 2024, Linto Law advised that it had a Virginia office. Respondent works primarily out of the firm's Pennsylvania office. On or about March 4th, 2024, Rodney Guyton communicated with Linto Law about representing him in a case Guyton had filed in Virginia, pro se, against Liberty University, which case was then pending in Lynchburg General District Court. Linto Law responded the same day, quoting a non-refundable, earned upon receipt, $350 consultation fee. Guyton immediately paid the quoted fee and received an email from respondent that requested information about Guyton's case and transmitted a consultation engagement letter, which respondent prepared. By email, sent on March 9th, 2024, this is just 2 years ago, or we're about to be 2 years ago, respondent arranged a telephone consultation with Guyton. Respondent, a non-attorney employee of Linto Law, John Groff, participated in the consultation with Guyton on March 11th, 2024. Guyton understood that respondent was a licensed attorney and capable of representing Guyton in Virginia. Respondent did not tell Guyton that he was not licensed in Virginia. Somebody asked the question, who are these people? During their consultation, Guyton informed respondent of the upcoming deadlines in his case against Liberty. As a result, respondent was aware, in particular, that Guyton had a court-imposed deadline to file a bill of particulars in just over 3 weeks. In his testimony, respondent considered Guyton's approaching court deadline as a factor in his decision whether Linto Law could handle Guyton's representation. Respondent is the person in the firm who decides which cases to take and the amount of the fee the firm will charge a client. On March 12th, the day after their consultation, respondent sent Guyton an email that included an engagement letter. It stated that Linto Law would represent Guyton in his claims about Liberty in exchange for an upfront, non-refundable $15,000 payment to cover costs and expenses in addition to a percentage of any recovery. He then paid a $350 non-refundable consultation fee. Now he has to pay a $15,000 non-refundable payment to cover costs and expenses and give a percentage of his recovery. The engagement letter further explained that the $15,000 payment is fully earned upon receipt. I would have got me a third, a second, a fourth, a fifth, a sixth, and a seventh opinion, because ain't no damn way. Anyway, respondent had not asked a licensed Virginia attorney to review the engagement letter before presenting it to Guyton, because remember, he failed to inform Guyton that he was not licensed to practice law in the state of the Commonwealth of Virginia. I don't know how you failed to tell somebody that, but listen, I'm just reading. Guyton signed the engagement letter and paid the $15,000 fee the same day. The $15,000 non-refundable fee the same day. My God. Respondent's March 12th email was the last time respondent ever communicated with Guyton. Did he just say he paid the $15,000 non-refundable fee and then nobody responded to his emails? That's the last time he ever communicated? Okay. Anyway, the following day, Guyton sent an email to respondent to which he attached pleadings and other documents pertinent to his case against Liberty. On March the 25th, 2024, Guyton emailed Lento Law stating that he had yet to hear anything from the team after he submitted relevant materials and follow-up email and a non-refundable $15,000 fee. Poof, Lord have mercy. The submission deadline for the filing of a bill of particulars is 4/3/24. Please advise. Respondent testified that the Lento Law attorney that is assigned to handle a case is the attorney who will prosecute the case in all respects. However, the day after his consultation with respondent, Guyton received an email from Lento Law advising him that his case had been assigned to Angela Tate Martinez, an attorney who was not licensed to practice law in Virginia. This attorney number 2 assigned to his case, not licensed to practice law in Virginia. $15,000 non-refundable upfront expenses and cost fee and $350 non-refundable consultation fee. Ms. Martinez could not have prosecuted Guyton's case in any respect. Moreover, within days after this assignment, Martinez's employment with Lento Law had terminated. I need to give me a crickets. Lord have mercy. Well, let's keep reading because this book is interesting. On April 3rd, 2024, the due date for the bill of particulars, Guyton received a voicemail message from Randall Stone, an attorney with the Lento Law. Stone was the only attorney with the Lento Law who was admitted to practice in Virginia. Stone asked for a calculation of Guyton's damages arising from his claim against Liberty. Guyton responded by text message advising Stone that his total damages were $16,416. Because of Stone's schedule, Guyton was not able to speak with Stone by phone until April 9th, 2024. When Stone told Guyton that he could not represent Guyton, after they got a $350 non-refundable consultation fee and a $15,000 non-refundable expenses and costs fee. 2 attorneys he spoke to, neither could practice law in Virginia. He speaks to the one that can, and he tells him he cannot represent him. Stone told him that although Stone was licensed to practice in Virginia, he was located in Arizona. And the amount of damages Guyton was seeking was too small for Stone to handle Guyton's case from out of state. Stone advised Guyton it might be best to allow the case to be dismissed and possibly consider refiling suit in another court. However, Stone did not file a bill of particulars or otherwise act on Guyton's behalf. On April 10, 2024, after Stone declined to handle Guyton's case, Guyton sent an email to respondent in Lento Law, raising the concern that no one from Lento Law had contacted him about filing the bill of particulars, which was 1 week overdue. 2 days later, Guyton sent an email to respondent noting that Stone had declined to represent Guyton and added, "I am now 9 days overdue and do not have an assigned attorney on my case." Respondent did not know that Stone had declined to handle Guyton's case until he received this email. Nevertheless, neither he nor anyone else from Lento Law responded to Guyton or acted to protect his interests when they received this news. April 16, 2024. Liberty moved the court to dismiss Guyton's case because Guyton had not filed a bill of particulars by the April 3rd deadline. The court granted the motion and dismissed Guyton's case on April 18, 2024. Guyton sent an email to respondent 4 days later to advise of Liberty's motion to dismiss. He sent another email to respondent the following day to advise him that the court had dismissed the case and to request respondent's advice. Neither respondent nor anyone else from Lento Law responded to these emails. $350 non-refundable consultation fee. $15,000 non-refundable expenses and costs fee. Okay. Although respondent offered no responses to Guyton's emails, respondent's internal emails at Lento Law showed that he understood that the growing disaster of Guyton's case was becoming a problem for the respondent himself. His Prozac assignment was that the court would likely dismiss Guyton's case with prejudice, and then I will be you know what he said. Respondents claims that he or Lento Law attempted to retain a Virginia attorney to handle Guyton's representation after Stone declined to do so were not supported by credible evidence. Now they lied and said they tried to get somebody to represent him in Virginia, and that was a lie. The lie detector determined that was a lie. That's what this said. I didn't say it. I read it right there. At no time during respondent's representation of Guyton did respondent or another attorney from Lento Law perform any work or incur any costs or expenses on Guyton's behalf. In an internal email, respondent admitted that Guyton really should get his money back because Stone punted the case, did nothing. Not you writing internal emails, but not responding to this man after you took his money and said he should get his money back, but y'all still not talking to this man. Let me see who then came in the room, because I feel like somebody came in the room and I need a mental break. What up, Tiki Child? How you doing? SP breaking down this hot mess. I know that's right. Okay. Why am I gal? Houston. Oh, Houston. Harvey, we have a problem. Okay. Like, share, subscribe. Share this to all of the places that you know a Harvey resident will be able to see it because this is a hot mess express. Okay? Did you see that? Did you hear that? I just read that they are writing internal emails about not answering this man's emails and or not getting this man a Virginia attorney to represent him after a $350 non-refundable consultation fee and a $15,000 non-refundable expenses and costs fee. Amanda asked, "Who are these people?" And that's how we got here. I don't want no smoke with nobody. I just report the news. I don't write it. Okay? I don't write it. All right, but that's the email he wrote, an internal email. Yet in the 2 months after, respondent learned that Linto's Law's only Virginia attorney would not handle guidance representation. Respondent did not return guidance $15,000. After many unanswered communications to respondent and other lawyers at Linto Law, which included multiple telephone calls and emails, Guyton filed the present bar complaint. Now, these bar complaints, okay, now they work. Do you see this? Okay. Y'all better start making these bar complaints on these people. Start following through. You see this? You see this? This is a Virginia revocation. That means he will not ever practice law in Virginia. Ooh, Jesus. He also engaged Virginia attorney McGavock D. Reed Jr., Esquire, to assist him in recovering his $15,000 from Linto Law. Reed sent a demand letter to respondent requesting the return of Guyton's unearned fee on June 11, 2024, but received no response. After Reed filed a lawsuit against Linto Law to recover Guyton's $15,000, Linto Law's legal counsel contacted Reed after they filed a lawsuit. Over the next 10 months, it took this man 20 minutes to send him $15,000, and he made this man drag this thing out for 10 months. Linto Law, through its counsel, negotiated the amount Linto Law would agree to return to Guyton. Not you wrote an internal email saying that the man should get his money back. They file a lawsuit on you. You go into court, hold them up for 10 months, and then want to negotiate how much of his money you gonna give him back? This law system need to be totally overhauled. After having kept Guyton's money for well over a year, man, the way I would have been calling Lovey and Lovey would have been insane. Linto Law finally refunded Guyton the original $15,000 advancement of costs and expenses on or about April 21st, 2025. He just returned this man's money last year. This man had to fight for money that it took him 5 minutes to send, and it took him a whole year to get back. Jesus, fix it. Guyton paid Reed legal fees in the amount of $40. That man, he had to pay his lawyer that he had to hire to get his money back $4,200 in order to collect this $15,000 from the Linto Law Group. This man done spent a total of almost 20 grand. Lord have mercy. Bless that man's heart. Pursuant to the provisions of Rule 8.5 of the Virginia Rules of Professional Conduct, The board concludes that the respondent is subject to the board's authority because he held himself out as providing and offered to provide legal services in Virginia. The board further finds that because the alleged misconduct occurred in the course of providing, holding out as providing, or offering to provide legal services in Virginia, the Virginia rules of professional conduct apply. And the board finds by clear and convincing evidence that the conduct, hold on, of, see all these notes here? Give you all the crib notes. Responded set forth above constitutes misconduct in violation of the following provision. Rule 1.1, competence. A lawyer shall provide competent representation to a client. Competent representation requires the legal knowledge, skill, thoroughness, and preparation reasonably necessary for the representation. Respondent violated this rule by accepting Guyton's $15,000, agreeing to represent Guyton in his Virginia lawsuit against Liberty, failing to take actions to ensure that a licensed Virginia attorney was handling Guyton's representation and taking appropriate steps to avoid the dismissal of the case. Failing to withdraw promptly from Guyton's representation when he had no Virginia attorneys to handle the representation, and failing to communicate with Guyton at any time after March 12th, 2024. He also was convicted, he also was found guilty of diligence. A lawyer shall act with reasonable diligence and promptness in representing a client. See, lawyers have fiduciary duties too. So, you need to listen, file those complaints. File them. File those complaints. Respondent violated Rule 1.3 by agreeing to accept Guyton's representation but failing to provide Guyton with a licensed Virginia attorney who would carry out that representation. Respondent initially assigned an attorney who was not licensed in Virginia to represent Guyton, who left Linto Law Group days later. Respondent assigned no one to represent Guyton until the day Guyton's bill of particulars was due, when Linto Law's only Virginia attorney, Randall Stone, was assigned to handle Guyton's representation. Respondent failed to ensure that Stone was able to provide those legal services. However, and by April 12, 2024, Respondent either knew or should have known that Stone had declined to represent Guyton. Yet Respondent took no action to find a licensed Virginia attorney to represent Guyton at any time before Respondent finally refunded Guyton's advance payment a year later. Lord have mercy. Communication. Man, he done been found guilty on almost all of the rules in Virginia. Okay, this communication. A lawyer shall act with reasonable diligence and promptness in representing a client. A lawyer shall explain a matter to the extent reasonably necessary to permit the client to make informed decisions regarding the representation. Respondent violated Rule 1.4 by failing to communicate with Guyton at any time after March 12, 2024. At a minimum, respondent should have communicated with Guyton about the attorney assignments for Guyton's representation. He should have responded when Guyton raised concerns about the missed deadline, Liberty's motion to dismiss, and the dismissal of Guyton's case. He should have communicated when he learned that Stone would not handle Guyton's representation by promptly returning Guyton's fee and withdrawing from the representation. Give me 1 second. Y'all heard that doorbell go off in my house? I got alarm bells in here. Hold on 1 second. Give me one second. All right. I'm sorry. I'm gonna let y'all digest that for 1 second. Let me check a few things. All right. Let's see if we can continue. All right. So he should have communicated, and he did not. I'm waiting on a response from somebody. So he also broke Rule 1.5, the fees rule. A lawyer's fee shall be reasonable. The factors to be considered in determining the reasonableness of a fee include the following: the time and labor required, the novelty and difficulty of the questions involved, and the skill requisite to perform the legal service properly. The likelihood, if apparent to the client, that the acceptance of the particular employment will preclude other employment by the lawyer. The fee customarily charged in the locality for similar legal services. The amount involved and the results obtained. The time limitations imposed by the client or by the circumstances. The nature and the length of the professional relationship with the client. The experience, representation, and ability of the lawyer or lawyers performing the services, and whether the fee is fixed or contingent. Respondent violated this rule by charging and accepting from Guidant a non refundable fee of $15,000, in addition to a percentage of any recovery for which Lento Law performed no services and incurred no cost or expenses. Oh, Lord. Safekeeping property. I'm almost afraid to read this one. Clark gave these people property in Harvey. Just hold on to your hats. Again, glue your wigs down, get your lace fronts and your partials. Go back and grab your bow hole. We still ain't got to the most intriguing part of this whole thing. Okay? Specific duties. A lawyer shall promptly pay or deliver to the client or another, as requested by such person, the funds, securities, or other properties in the possession of the lawyer that such person is entitled to receive. Respondent violated this rule by accepting from Guidant a fee of $15,000. However, he performed no work and incurred no expenses on Guidant's behalf. Respondent further failed to refund any portion thereof for more than a year, even after Guyton, through his legal counsel, had made a written demand to respondent 10 months earlier for the fee to be refunded. Now, let me tell you something about the state of Illinois. If you retain a lawyer and they require a fee or fees, they have to set up an account, and their account is regulated. It is regulated by a third party administrator that goes over all bills and fees and everything. And the money in there still belongs to you. If you decide to fire them lawyers, the third party administrator is required by law, by the state law in Illinois, to refund all monies in that account back to the original owner, which is you. This man, total violation. Declining or terminating representation. Hold on, y'all. 1 second. Give me 1 second. I hope y'all didn't hear me screaming. Any documents, hold on, let me see if somebody's saying something. Any documents pertaining to this property exchange. Yep, Tiki, we're going to go over them. All right, so declining or terminating representation. Lord, this thing goes on and on and on. Do you hear me? Misconduct. It is professional misconduct for a lawyer to do any of the following: commit a criminal or deliberately wrongful act that reflects adversely on the lawyer's honesty, trustworthiness, or fitness to practice law. Lord, take me out of here. Sanction phase. So this is where they sanctioned that he will not be able to practice law in the state of Virginia. Whew, Lord have mercy. Hold on one second, because this right here, the deposition. Let's read this because I see something in here. After considering the exhibits, testimony, and arguments of counsel, the board was guided by Standard 411 of the Annotated Standards of Imposing Lawyer Sanctions, which provides that disbarment is generally appropriate when a lawyer knowingly converts client property and causes injury or potential injury to a client. Here, respondent retained guidance $15,000 for more than a year, during which time he either knew or should have known that his firm had no licensed Virginia attorney to perform the services Guyton had engaged respondent's firm to perform. He admitted in the internal emails that Guyton's fee should be returned to him. And he retained Guyton's funds long after his firm had utterly failed to perform any services on Guyton's behalf. By retaining the funds belonging to Guyton, respondent denied Guyton the ability to pursue any possible action against Liberty. The board found no mitigating factors. The board considered as aggravating factors the following: respondent's prior disciplinary offenses, respondent's prior 1-year suspension and current 5-year suspension reflect pervasive, serious, and troubling misconduct. Respondent's dishonest motive as reflected in his failure to return Guyton's fee for more than a year. Respondent's pattern of misconduct. Respondent's rule violations in this case are nearly identical to the rule violations identified in the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania's November 19th, 2024. So he didn't just do this once, he did it twice. And chronicled respondents' misconduct in 6 different matters. Why do this sound like the Lovey and Lovey case where Lacey had 6 car accidents already previous to the one to where this man lost his life and the other man ended up in a wheelchair? Not 6 different matters. I mean, Amanda asked who these people were. The only thing I did was try to help her find out who these people are. Respondent's refusal to acknowledge the wrongful nature of his conduct. Respondent takes no responsibility as managing attorney for supervising his attorney, but places blame instead on the attorneys. Respondent's substantial experience in practicing law in which he has received sanctions for his misconduct. Respondent appears to have learned little from the experience. Evidence in the sanction phase of the proceeding, the board recessed to deliberate. Following the deliberation of the appropriate sanction, the board reconvened and announced its decision. Having considered the evidence presented and argument of counsel, it is ordered that respondent's privilege to practice law in the Commonwealth of Virginia is hereby revoked effective May 16, 2025. Now look, now I'm gonna show you these. You see this here? See this page here? This page right here lists all of the other 1, 2, 3, 4. All these have all of the other cases, okay, of misconduct. They all linked right here. You should know my email by now. stoodupforthetea@gmail.com. If you are a Harvey resident and you the links here are hyperlinked, so that if you click on them, it takes you directly to the court case. Okay, so if you want that, you can get all you gotta do. But that's somebody wanted to know who these people are. That's who they are. I listen. I don't write the news. I don't write the news. I just report it. Okay, I don't want no smoke with nobody. All of this I'm showing you in black and white. You can go right to these links in here, and you can go find them. It takes you right to them. Matter of fact, I don't want you to think I'm lying. That one right there is the Virginia one. Let's see, which one is this one? I'm going to click this one. All right, you see this? This one takes you to the Pennsylvania one right here. Okay, so all of the links work. They will take you right to whatever you want to know. So if you want this, then email me and I will send it to you. What up, Condia? How are you? We are in the thick of it. All right, so now that we have seen that, now let's go and look at this agreement. We're going to look at this agreement. Okay. I told you. Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, we're not. I'm going to. Now, that was Joseph, okay, who seems to be one of the owners of this global real estate development group that is going to be, that owns Turd-Lington Homes, that is going to be doing this redevelopment community. Made a resolution October the 27th, 2025, and the resolution number is 4016. Okay. So, but we did, and we talked about John Groff. He was part of that whole situation. As you can see, they said that he sat in on the consultation. However, there are other instances. I need to play something. So this, we're talking about who these people are, right? We want to know who these people are. Who is this person, right? So see at the top, it says, listen to John Groff of the Lento Law Group call a black woman well, just listen.
She totally disrespected me by telling Joe that it's my fault. Joe don't give a fuck one way or the other, but I'll be damned. I'll be damned if I'm going to have some black fucking nigger bitch, okay, tell somebody that it's my fucking fault that she don't know what the fuck she's doing. Okay? Like I said, she has 15 fucking minutes to call me and apologize and call Joe and tell Joe that she really didn't mean that. And then I'll fucking have a conversation with her. But I'm going to tell you right now, Joe, I want to destroy her. I'm going to fucking destroy her. Bye.
Oh, did y'all need to hear that again? Let me know. Raise your hand in the comments if you need to hear it again, if it wasn't quite clear and you needed to hear it again. Okay, if you look at the behind 16, Groff was accused of promising to keep a Camden man, Camden, New Jersey, in exchange for some services with both him and his girlfriend. I don't write this news. I just report. Okay? I just report the news. That's all that I do. Take it a step further. If you go to if you watch that podcast, great podcast, there is also a story there about Mr. Groff. You can go there. You can you know what? I'll link it to this video so that you can view it if you like. Okay. But I mean, were y'all able to hear what? Okay. I just want to know, was you able to hear? I mean, Amanda asked this question. And rightly so. She asked, who is these people coming into our neighborhood, to our city? Who are these people? I mean, rightly so. She asked, you know, I'm just, I'm just reporting. That's all I'm doing. I'm just reporting. Okay. Again, nobody's saying anything, and I'm getting afraid. Somebody let me know you was able to hear it. If you need to hear it again, what you need me to do? Somebody listen. Are you guys okay? Keely, okay, you heard it loud and clear. Okay, want to let you know. Okay, long as you heard it, like, share, subscribe. Please share this with any Harvey. Share this live with any Harvey, resident that you know, so that they can be informed. We're now about to go over the. We're gonna get rid of that. We're gonna get rid of that because I don't want y'all to be traumatized. Because baby, I was traumatized. You hear me? But anyway, okay. So now, some of the board did ask and got no answer. Child, didn't that lady from that third ward, that lady named Edith, but that's what we call her over here, didn't either say that you should do your own research? And what that should they have done their own research instead of letting somebody tell them what to do? See, that's how you know that somebody was telling them what to do. That lady told us to do our research, so that's what we over here doing. We doing our research and minding our business and drinking our water. We don't want no smoke with nobody. We don't write the news. We just report it, ma'am. Okay. I got distracted while I was playing, but I'll replay it later. Okay, child. Don't play it too loud. Okay, Candia, don't play it too loud. All right, now let's get to this agreement. Let's get to this agreement, because I think this is something that everybody, wants to know about. Okay, it says redevelopment agreement by and between the city of Harvey and Turd-Lington Homes. Hold on, I have to check something right quick. When you have, hold on one second. Hold on one second. I don't think I can see it. Okay, I can't see all of y'all comments. Let me get all of them here. Okay, got it. Then again, time. Okay. Hold on one second, y'all. Hold on. I got an emergency right quick. 1 second. All right, sorry about that. Says, hello, good people. Sorry I'm late. I didn't get my notification. That's okay, Johnny Hooker, because, YouTube don't like me. Does it Clark had with these shady folks? Well, Wyoming guy, we about right now. All right. Let's look and see what we in for. I'm bad. But we're going to talk about this project on the totality of this project, okay? The ramifications and everything, and then we're going to get out of here. So this is the redevelopment agreement by and between the city of Harvey and Turd-Lington Homes. Okay? All of these things on this first page, it says global estate development, and it's supposed to be in real estate. So I hope somebody went back and fixed that typo. Anyway, I hope somebody went back and fixed that typo. Global real estate development and its contractors specialize in the construction of new single family homes throughout the country. I don't know about I only did find them maybe in New Jersey, Michigan, and what was the other state? There was one more state. But those are the 3 states that they claim, and I'll show you where they claimed that at. The city, listen to this. The city is willing to assist the developer by selling the redevelopment property at a discounted sale price. In the exercise of the city's home rule powers, provided that the developer agrees to the terms as set forth in this agreement. What these properties are and where they are. Letter G is going to send you off because we have been sent off. Julian Rucker has been sent off. Okay? Okay. The city and the developer desire that the property be developed and used solely to promote home ownership in compliance with this agreement. Then we go down, we get definitions for building code, stating to the development company things that they might not know in Illinois that they need to have. They have to be up to building code. The building code of these buildings that they propose to build have to be up to code and built with whatever is approved by the state. Certificate of occupancy. If you've ever rented a home, built a home here in Illinois, you have to get a certificate of occupancy to be able to occupy your home or a home. So, which just essentially means that the city has sent in inspectors to inspect the furnace, the pipes, and make sure that everything is up to code. And once that is done, a certificate of occupancy is issued. Okay. Corporate authorities, letting them know the mayor and the city council are the corporate authorities. Talking about strikes, improvements, persons, property conveyance schedule, phase 1, phase 2. We'll talk about that later because it's actually a part of this. It's Exhibit C, so we'll talk about that. Where you see Exhibit A and Exhibit C, these are documents that are located in this agreement, okay? And I'm going to show you those. Okay, zoning ordinances, they have to comply with all the zoning ordinances. Mutual assistance, the exchange of documents, and all of those things have to be free flowing. They have to get government approval and city approval for certain things, whatever those things might be, as far as permits and the requirements of the law of this state. All right, conveyance of redevelopment property. This is the part that we need to get to, and I want you all to brace yourselves. I don't see anybody saying anything in the comments. I need you all to be actively talking in the comments, so I know maybe you're just intently listening, but it's scaring me. I just want you to know, whether you talk amongst yourselves or whatever you do, it's fine, but just talk in the chat amongst yourselves or to me, ask me questions. Now we're going to get into this conveyance of the redevelopment property. So, hold on one second. Let me see. Can I find this? So there were 9 parcels of land. Now, if you live in the city of Harvey, in the village of Harvey, I do have the PIN numbers for these parcels and everything. And we're going to look at it from tonight. I'm just going to show you a few of them. But if anyone from the village of Harvey would like this information, don't hesitate to contact me. And I will send the PIN numbers and all of this information over to you directly. Okay. It's public information. It's information you should have as a resident. There are a few things in this agreement that I feel like the residents should challenge, and they should get a lawyer to challenge them. But I don't give legal advice here, so I'm just saying you may want to contact an attorney to find out, what's what, because there's a few things in here that I highlighted that I didn't see go on, but I digress. Okay, so let's get down to the conveyance of redevelopment property. So this talks about the conveyance of the property. The city is the owner of the property. This is true. The city shall convey its interest in the redevelopment property to the developer, which they did. Now it says, let's get to the due diligence. So the due diligence part is they're letting the developer know that you're getting this property as is. Whatever is wrong with it after you sign this document, that's your problem, not our problem. So if there's any type of hazardous materials in the soil, if there's anything wrong where you might not be able to dig or build, that's your business. But once we give you these properties, we are no longer liable. Q, I just noticed that you have the Green Gang as your background. Absolutely, because baby, we still dealing with them, right? We still dealing with them. Absolutely. This right here, this is some gangrene activity, honey. Okay, let's go down to now the purchase price. You see it, right? It said, and I highlighted it. Developer will as the purchase price for the property the sum of $10. The purchase price when due will be payable in cash by cashier's check or bank check or by wire transfer, providing immediately specified account. Now let's just pause right here for one moment. You have a developer coming from out of state. They are by way of Michigan, by way of another state. I can't remember the other state at the moment. And they are coming into a financially distressed city. As a matter of fact, the city declares themselves distressed. I believe it's at this meeting, the meeting before their resolution. So you got 9 parcels of land for $10. That was the agreement from a financially distressed city. So are we financially distressed or are we not? Because it doesn't make sense to be selling property out here for $10 and it's 9 properties. 9. I'm gonna say that again. 9 properties for $10. So how could it be paid in cash by a check? Child, listen, I just report the news. I'm just reporting it. The city gave the properties away for less than $100. I mean, the more feasible fee would have been to assess at least the taxes for each parcel, if that's what you want to do. I mean, there could have been a $90,000 exchange. There could have been a $200,000 exchange. We talking about 9 parcels of property. And keep in mind that Julian Rucker came to a meeting previous to the one that was had and said that he had $350,000 of his own money ready to invest in Harvey. Yet we give an out-of-state developer 9 parcels of property for $10. Now, I don't make things up. I don't make things up. You saw the agreement. This is the agreement right here. I don't make things up because I don't have to. And again, I'm just reading. I don't write the news. I just report it. I don't want no smoke with nobody. Okay? How did they get the property? It was conveyed to them by the city. You see that part? It was conveyed to them by the city. The resolution was passed on October the 27th, 2025. It's resolution number 4016 by the 4 Alder yes men. They agreed to convey these properties, these 9 parcels of land, and I'm going to still continue to say that, for $10. We are a financially distressed city, and we have a developer coming from another state. And we sell them 9 parcels of land for $10. Where did the city get the property from? I'm sure that it was some properties that the taxes were not being paid and they were taken because the taxes had not been paid. It's probably how they got it. But again, I need to do a little bit more further research. Some of these ones I could not find what I needed, what I was looking for. But listen, you know me. I'll deeper dive if y'all ask me to. Okay? Like, share, and subscribe to this channel. If you're on X, we're over here on YouTube. It is all in the queue on YouTube. All in the queue. Q is spelled Q-U-E if you're on Twitter. If you're not on Twitter and you have a Twitter, follow me on Twitter. I am AITQ. If you go to the post on my YouTube page, I put the link to my Twitter there. You can go follow me there. I will be writing articles over there and, putting things out. This will be an article that I'll be writing over there on Twitter. Who owned the land? Well, there is some discrepancy, like I said. Today, I called the Cook County Recorder of Deeds at about 11 something, and the office was closed. But I think it's due to today was, that Pulaski Day? I forgot all about it. Every March 2nd, I believe, is Pulaski Day. And so I forgot about it. So it was a holiday for the city workers of the state and city workers in the state of Illinois. So they were closed. So I'll have to call tomorrow because I only could find the recorder of deeds for one property that was signed over to the city of Harvey from somebody named Ethel Smith, I believe. Oh, Tiki, is so many layers, okay? So, we'll take a little bit deeper dive into that, but I wanted to get this initial live out of the way, okay? So 9 parcels of land for $10, okay? Once they paid it, upon the payment of the purchase price, $10, the city will convey the redevelopment property in the form of a quick claim deed, where the city represents that the title is free from any liens or encumbrances. Now, they are, because I checked the taxes. I went to the tax assessor's website, and, they're city-owned properties, so they have no tax. They don't get charged tax. Taxes don't apply to city-owned properties. So the deeds are free and clear. They have no liens on them. Okay? It says, prior to conveyance of the redevelopment property to the developer, Developer shall deliver to the city a recordable reconveyance of warranty deed or property. So once they sign it over to them, they have to then go and file all of the properties under Turd-Lington Homes. Okay. And then they have to return those filings back to the city. Now, you see this yellow? See what that say? It say incentives. Now, why would we have a developer come from out of state, give them property for $10, and then give them incentives on top of that? Anywho, I'm just reading. The city agrees as at its sole cost and expense to reimburse the developer for costs incurred in the connection with the reconstruction of sidewalks located on public property and subject to the city's oversight. I would have never. But anyway, that's me. Such reimbursement shall be limited to an amount not to exceed $30,000 and shall be provided for work reasonably detailed in an invoice submitted to the city. The reimbursement shall be made within 90 days following the city's receipt. A completed invoice, not you promising people money when you don't have money to promise. Child, escándalo. I'm so outdone. All sidewalk reconstruction work must comply with standards as a condition precedent to the I think that's supposed to be prior to the reimbursement. In addition, what did I tell y'all about that word in addition? It's something always that follow it that don't never be in my best interest. The city agrees to waive all utility tap fees otherwise applicable under the Harvey Municipal Code in connection with the redevelopment of the properties identified in this agreement. Now, why would you waive utility tap fees? Why would you be waiving anything? Okay, Wyoming gal, why are we giving incentives away when we are a financially distressed city? They gonna get reimbursement on the sidewalks that they gonna bust up because they gonna have to bust them up in order to build, to connect to the city lines and all of those things. Then you're gonna further give them and waive the utility tap fees. All right, well, let's keep reading because before all the yes men did this is already in action, allegedly. Now listen to this, residents that live over there off Turd-Lington and 151st. Damage to public property. The developer shall maintain the redevelopment property and all streets, sidewalks, and other public property in and adjacent to the property in a good and clean condition at all times during development of the redevelopment property and construction of the improvements. Further, the developer shall promptly clean all mud, dirt, or debris deposited on any street, sidewalk, or other public property in or adjacent to the redevelopment property by the developer or any agent or contractor hired by or on behalf of the developer, and shall repair any damage that may be caused by the activities of the developer or any agent or contractor hired by or on the behalf of the developer. If within 1 hour after the city gives the developer notice to clean all mud, dirt, or debris deposited on any street, sidewalk, or other public property in or adjacent to the redevelopment property by the developer or any agent of or contractor hired by or on behalf of the developer neglects to clean or undertake the due diligence to clean the affected public property, the city shall be entitled to clean either with its own forces or with contract forces in the affected public property and to recover from the developer per hour charged based on the city's most currently effective prevailing wage rates. in accordance with the Prevailing Wage Act. You hear that, residents? Your community, even through these bills, should be clean. The street should be clean. The sidewalk should be clean. Your yard should be clean of any type of debris, trash, mud, dirt. Report them. 1, 2, 3, release them. Okay? I wanted to point that out to you because you need to know that. You need to make sure that, because construction site comes with a lot of debris. The workers be leaving trash. Those heavy equipment things be leaving mud and all of that stuff. Listen, C is going to be your best friend. Report them. Any minor adjustments they can do, but they have to talk it over with the city engineer. It has to be authorized. Any major adjustments to the scope of work has to be considered or approved by the corporate authorities. Okay? Let me see here. I think I highlighted something else. Sure did. Number 8. Now this was funny. As of the date of execution of this agreement, we don't actually know when the agreement was executed. We know that the ordinance was set forth on October the 27th, 2025. It is ordinance number 4016, just in case you were wondering. The developer is financially solvent, able to pay its debts as they mature, and able to perform the obligations hereunder, and will promptly give written notice to the city of any material adverse change in financial condition of developer. Are we sure? Which would have an adverse effect on a execution, delivery, performance, or enforceability of this agreement. Being that the Secretary of State filing was filed October the 2nd, 2025, did anybody check to see if the developer was actually solvent and able to take on this project? As in this agreement, they said that this development project was going to cost about $2.124 million. Okay, Condia. I'm just asking, did somebody check that? Because we just read that somebody money was, you know what? Never mind. Okay. There was one other thing. Oh, there it is. Listen, I have to take notes for myself. Listen to this. Listen to this. This is good. Developers risk prior to completion. Prior to completion of the redevelopment project, developer will keep in force at all time builder's risk and liability insurance on completed value basis in a non-reporting form against all risk of physical loss. So they have to make sure that they carry liability insurance throughout this entire project, even while these houses are sitting empty and have no occupants or haven't been sold. Here's another part of this contract that I found very interesting, and that if anybody signed, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't give out legal advice here, but I have questions about this letter C, so let's read it. Developer acknowledges and agrees that notices, meetings, and hearings have been properly given and held by the city with respect to the approval of this agreement, and agrees to not challenge the city's approval on the grounds of any procedural infirmity or any denial of any procedural right. Can somebody from Harvey or somebody that's been watching the meetings along with me attending the meetings, when did these notices, meetings, and hearings occur about this development? Did anybody, if you from Harvey and you in the comments, get in these comments. And then if are these people licensed? Because in the state of Illinois, you got to be licensed, and you do. I'm asking for some friends. Harvey residents, this letter C in this agreement, there has never been a public hearing or community meeting about this project. Well, Amanda, this live was for you. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for attending this live. But letter C says in the agreement, letter C, this is number 11. This is section 11. Letter C says city procedure. Developer acknowledges and agrees that notices, meetings, and hearings have been properly given and held by the city with respect to the approval of this agreement, and agrees to not. Now, I got a question. It says, okay, with respect to the approval of this agreement, but the agreement already been approved, and it's a resolution 4016. But somebody said there has never been a public hearing or community meeting about this project. What do that mean for letter C of section 11 of this agreement between the city of Harvey and Turd-Lington Homes? Straight Shooter, what's up? Thank you. Thank you so much for the super chat. Oh my God. I appreciate you so much. God bless you. Thank you so much. I don't see how the developer is going to make a profit. I don't see how the developer signed this agreement. Well, first of all, let me back up. I don't see how the city of Harvey set up this agreement, signed this agreement, passed this resolution, and section 11, letter C, clearly states that it is city procedure that a developer and the city have to have notices. It says the developer acknowledges and agrees that notices, meetings, and hearings have been properly given and held by the city with respect to the approval of this agreement. So there was a groundbreaking. Was the groundbreaking legal? Child, I'm all confused. You got me turned around, child. I don't even know. Anytime, girl, been doing this all day. It's been blessing. Thank you. Thank you so much. I hope God blesses you the only way that he can. Okay? I hope he blesses you pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Okay? I hope he opens up a window of heaven that no one can close, that your storehouse overflows. Thank you so much. Listen, I said I don't give out legal advice here. We don't get, this is for educational purposes only. Okay? Educational purposes only. But what should we do with this information? Stay tuned. We'll figure out what we should do with it. I mean, I know what I would do with this information, but I want to talk to some Harvey people to see if they want to do it. I mean, because this is all about what the people of Harvey want to do. Groff and Linto reps the instigator actor. That's the affiliation. People are laundering money and who knows what else. Keep the truth coming for people. Escándalo. All I want to know is, when was the notices, meetings, and hearings? Because I do know that any city-owned property that's sold, to someone, there has to be hearings and the public gets to weigh in on, whatever is happening. I just want to know, if there's any Harvey residents listening, what would you like to do with this information? See, because the problem is follow through. We can be knowledgeable about all the things we want to be knowledgeable about, but we have to start following through. We got to start taking something all the way to the end, whatever that end might be. Is it tedious? Was all of this research and stuff tedious and had to read all of this stuff to find all of these things? Absolutely. Absolutely was labor intensive, having to run through all of these papers and find all of these things. Now, let me, okay, now keep that in your mind. What page is this? 44. If you are from Harvey and you're listening to me, I want you to I hope you've been taking notes, but I want you to write down page 44 in this document, but it's actually page 8. Page 44 in this entire PDF, because this PDF has more pages in it. But it's page 8 of the agreement. It's section 11, and it's letter C. Okay? Developer, now, they signed this paper saying that they acknowledge that all of those things happen. I know you lying. Anywho, let's keep on going. So then, these things are standard. The rest of the things are standard in this contract. I did read it, and then we're at the end anyway. So what I'm going to show you, they have to file a timeline of construction with the city. So you should be able to FOI for that, whatever the timeline is, because they didn't put it in here. Okay, because if they did, they highlighted it for you. Okay. Now we're going to take a look at these exhibits. That's right. Of the agreement, section 11, letter C. Most important thing in there for the residents. This right here is the list of properties and the list of pins that they received. There is only one property that they have to demolish. That's what this says. Okay? The rest of them are absolutely vacant lots. I'm going to show you. Hold the line, please. Okay. 15115 Turd-Lington Avenue in Harvey is one of the $10 lots. Well, not $10 lots. One of the lots for which they have 9 that they paid $10 for. That part. Okay. And yep, 15115 Turd-Lington. It is a completely empty lot, as are most of these. Okay. Hope you all can see the picture there. Empty lot. Okay. empty lot. There are existing homes. You see that home there, that shotgun home? There are existing homes. Now, let's take a look at, because we need to talk about this project and this in the totality of what this means or what it could, imply. Okay. So you see that home there, the gray home, that's a shotgun home. Shotgun meaning it's straight back. You go straight back through that home. Shotgun, straight down. Don't have no second floor, one floor, straight back. All right. So let's look at what they intend to build on these vacant lots beside these existing homes. Some of these homes are, they're older homes built in the 1940s, 50s. So they're old, extremely old homes. This is what they want to put. These are renderings of the 3 offerings that are going to be in this area. The things that you have to consider, right? Or things that you should consider so that certain things don't happen. Okay? You got old homes or you got new homes surrounded by older homes. You have to start thinking what that is going to do to the area and to the other homes. People are screaming, super, it's going to make the area look good or better. Okay. But have you considered that putting these new homes around the older homes who are occupied, these older homes are occupied by seniors that are on a fixed income. Good night, Tiki Child. I'm sure more properties are likely coming out. The website doesn't even have a model home shown. Well, those are the model homes right there. Well, they haven't built the model home yet, so but those are the ones those are the different styles that they intend to build. Like I said, the things that you have to consider is that these homes around us are older homes. They are occupied by seniors. Lots of them are on fixed incomes. When you put newer homes mixed in older homes, property values get reassessed. If these homes sell at a higher price, and in Harvey, homes typically are sold between $90,000 and I say at the highest $150,000. I believe it was told that these homes are supposed to start at $180,000. That's already at the high tippy top end of the spectrum for these other existing homes. So if one of the homes sell, then the property values are going to be reassessed, and that will mean that their property taxes, the homes that are around these new homes, are going to go up. Can the seniors on the fixed income in these homes surrounded by these new homes, will they be able to afford the increase? This is how gentrification begins, where people are taxed out of their homes and have to either sell their homes or abandon their homes because they can no longer afford them because they have been taxed out of them because of new construction that has happened either on their street or in their neighborhood. And so this is where you get gentrification. Is that a good thing for Harvey? Where will the seniors go that have lived in their homes for more than 50 years? These are all things that should have and need to be considered, because the city would have to step in and give the existing homeowners tax breaks. That's essentially what they would have to do in order for these seniors on fixed incomes. And this will be especially bad for renters, because if they're renting, their rent's going to go up based on the fact that the owner, the property taxes have risen. Oh, yeah, Amanda, we finna talk about it because it can happen. Matter of fact, if one of these homes sell, it will happen. It's not a if, it's but a when. Because it's already been passed. It's a resolution number 4016. It is not an if, it is a when. If one of these homes sell, that's it. Cancel Christmas. Taxes reassessed, taxes raised. Period. I mean, it could raise somebody's property taxes between 5 and 7%. It could raise it higher if the house sells for higher. I mean, it's really going to depend on if any of these homes sell. In my opinion, these are very hard sales for homes because Harvey is a food desert. You have to travel outside of Harvey in order to get to a Jewel's, a Food for Less, a Aldi's even. So you have to travel outside of your living area, which that means those taxes are not going into where you live. They're going into wherever you have to stop and get groceries. I would be concerned about the poor quality. The home will be built with a good wind and will crumble. I will be out the anointing the home, the day foundation. If the seniors have been there forever, then they should be on the senior freeze. Just saying. Yeah, they may be on the senior freeze. Some of them may be. Some of them, though, they do not qualify for senior freeze, even though they're of age. Why? Why? Because the money that they get on retirement, some of these people are retired from the railroad. Some of these people are retired from the Ford plant, from these big, manufacturers, and they don't qualify. Did you know that it's really based on what you make if you get the senior freeze? It is based on the amount of money that you bring in if you qualify for the senior freeze. So you don't just get the senior freeze because you met the age requirement. You also have to meet the financial requirement. So some of them may qualify for the senior freeze. Some of them may not. It's still going to put the neighborhood in distress, because what will you have happen? You will be having homes going up for sale or being abandoned. The few people that can stay will maybe decide to stay. I'm skeptical that they can build those homes to sell them for $180,000 and make a profit. I doubt they are doing it out of the goodness of their heart. Like, those questions I can't answer, but I will ask this question. So these homes, so let's scroll down. Okay. Now that we talked about the gentrification word, we talked about the cost, we talked about this possibly pushing up property tax and taxing some people out of their homes because of a newer home around older homes. Okay. Now let's look at what the foundation is: a slab. Now, all of the homes around these homes will have basements because it's Illinois. Why? Right? Because we get tornadoes and we hear the tornado siren, and where do you go? You go in the basement. If they hear a tornado siren, where they going? In the tub? Because that's going to be the only place they can go. Everybody else going in their basement. These people going in the tub. That's going to be another harder sale. The foundation is a slab. All the other homes around you have extra space in the form of a basement. Whether you build it out or you don't, it's space. I mean, you can build it out. I have a basement. I haven't built it out yet, but I will be building it out. It will provide me a whole nother guest room, a whole nother bathroom, and a sitting area. So 26,000 for the freeze, I think. Yeah, most retirees out there get more than that from their pensions. But hey, like I said, some people will be able to get the senior freeze and some people won't. It's just gonna be, who's out there. I haven't surveyed the area. I don't know, the people that live in the area to know if, they're eligible. My daughter lived in Missouri and they had a room under the stairs for a tornado. You can't find a 30-year-old condo near where I live for less than $250K. Well, and it is my understanding that right now building materials are at an all-time high. And we are now in, what is it, the war called Epic Fury? We are now in Epic Fury. What do those prices for building materials look like now? Or what are they going to look like if this war continues to go on? And the basement is 69 degrees year round. Kevin, that don't bother me at all, really. Because the way I will put one of them heaters down there is insane. Now you got those fireplace heaters. I love those things. But I have gas in my home too, so I could put a gas fireplace down there if I can find an outlet to get the, to vent or whatever. I mean, it's all about who you get to do it. I know it's a lot of people you can choose, but you can do lots of things with your basement. For me, a basement is always a plus because it's extra. How many people you got in your house? If you only got two, sometimes you want to go to a place that you feel like it's just you in there. You and your thoughts. Okay, wow, Miguel. 180K for new homes in Central Harvey will be as popular as those 450,000 new homes that have been on the market in Linwood for 5 years. Wow. Infrared fireplace doesn't require venting. I love it, Kevin. Thank you. Thank you. Let me write that down, Kevin, because I'm getting ready to redo my basement. So you said infrared. See, I love learning from y'all. We learn from each other, right? Infrared fireplace. I'm gonna write that down so I can look it up and tell my builder that's what I want. Thank you, Kevin. Okay. So, these are the concerns. These are the concerns. Now, on this website as well, let me show you these. They have testimonials. You can get no testimonials from people that you actually build homes from, because this does not say you built any homes. These testimonials says, I've had the opportunity to get to know, wait a minute. These guys are consistently helping the community and we thank them for their development contributions, which were what? Global real estate development is bringing economic vitality to Flint with multiple ongoing projects, which are what? I had the opportunity to get to know the people at Global Real Estate Development over the last several years. Still ain't heard nothing they built. I mean, what did they build? Child, I cannot deal with this. I can't deal with it. I didn't even click on this about us. Let me see what this about us say, because I never even clicked on it. Okay, it don't tell you who owned it. It just tell you total sales 200 million. I'm gonna need somebody to verify that. I'm finna try to 862 properties sold, auction clearance rate 92%. I need some verification. Verified by who? By the FDIC. I need some other logos up here to verify all of this. That's what I need. I bet you one thing. I bet you I'm gonna go out here and try to verify it. Okay. Mobile homes use them a lot. Oh Lord. Super producer, don't forget about a good fan for when you get one of those hot flash moments. Baby, listen, I got 3 of them in here. I got one of them in here right now. They got a remote to it. You ain't got to worry about me because I'm always going to have a plan. Okay? Okay? I got it. All right? So, these are my concerns about this development. We just read that there was supposed to be meetings and hearings. Okay. Whoever want to make a public comment about it, make a public comment about it. Okay. Because it needs to be commented on. Did that happen? Did I miss something? Was there a chocolate cake bake and we wasn't invited to the meeting? Was there a squirrel meeting? I have no idea. Well, listen, I don't know what else to tell you. Right now, that's all I got for you. I hope I provided you with some things to think about, okay, as it relates to the impact of this development on the community of Harvey, the city of Harvey. The city of Harvey is in need of a lot of things. Development, yes, is definitely one of them. But the most important thing that they're in need of is stores. It is a food desert out there as far as stores and things that you can purchase goods. They say that you can go to the butcher shop to purchase things, but how much more expensive is the butcher shop? It's a meat shop. It doesn't specialize in groceries. It really specializes in meat. So, I mean, while there's a store there's not somewhere that somebody could shop consistently to get items and have things on sale and those things that a grocery store could provide, like Jewels or Aldi's or Walt's or Food for Less. So let me see what y'all saying. I find it interesting how they created their business October 2nd so they could capitalize on end of the year tax for new business. And yet, 25 days later, the mayor is secretly doing this deal. Desperately need business development. All the rest will come. Definitely. There are so many abandoned commercial buildings and places that things could be, I think they need to put together an economic development committee to brainstorm what they might want to come, how they can get them to come. But that's going to be secondary to finding out even about the finances, what state, Harvey is actually in as far as finances. We know that they're doing a lot of spending, but what about the collecting? Is there any money coming in? Is there enough money coming in? And so those are the immediate concerns, over, and there are 5,000 plus abandoned properties, not just commercial properties. Those are homes, dilapidated, abandoned, vacant homes, right? So that needs to be addressed before anything should be built. People like Julian Rucker with their own funding, their own money, not asking for any type of incentives, should be given first dibs at $10 lots. Okay? At $10 lots, they should be given first dibs on those properties, people that live right in the village of Harvey. There is a developer, Julian Rucker, lives right in the village of Harvey. Okay? Has his own money. I mean, if anything, they should have showed him 9 parcels for $1. And he probably would have whipped through them things and got them things back into shape and, did what he needed to do for his community because that's what he wants to do. Paying taxes, taxpayers. They got that website up fast. Yeah, they did. There's a dirty plan for all of this. Trust me. Oh, indeed. But like I said, we got to have follow through. What can we do knowing that an agreement like this was signed on page 8, section 11, letter C, and there were no hearings, no notices, and no meetings? What can we do? I got a few ideas. But the residents of Harvey, they got to be wanting to follow through. They got to want to care. Right? Because they got to do it. They have to do it. And I believe they can do it together. I believe that they can do it together. And, I believe that they can turn their own city around with no outside help if they wanted to. There are a lot of knowledgeable, hardworking people in Harvey, a lot of smart people in Harvey. There are a lot of smart people that came out of Harvey. Look it up. There are a lot of them. Keep bringing the facts, point out the bylaws, and hold all the people on the boards there accountable. Whether they were honest and fair, they have to be held accountable. That's my thoughts, straight shooter. Those are my thoughts exactly. What do we do with the information that we just learned? All right, that's my live for today. Listen, I have got so much information. Tomorrow morning, probably midday, we're going to talk about the new village administrator for Dalton. Got a few things I need to share with you about that person, if anybody cares. Pretty interesting if you ask me. That's going to be a 2-parter. When I was doing work for they owed AT&T over $38,000 for phone services. AT&T wanted to pull the plug. Cook County intervened and told AT&T they can't. Wow. These are things like that you need to know. We need to know all of the things that we need to know about the finances before we can do anything, right? Before we can, welcome other things in. And I'm telling you, Harvey they need development, but it needs to make sense. The development needs to make sense. You should do the Amoeba Boys as your background next time. Next live. I got you, Condi, and let me write this down. The Amoeba Boys. I got to look them up. I don't know. My kids probably know them, but I don't. The Amoeba Boys. Okay, I'm going to find it and I'm going to do it. Okay. All right. Listen. Like, share, and subscribe. Share this live to anybody that's in Harvey, in Illinois, anybody that just wants to know, certain things. Share this live. Get it out there. Get the information out there. We need to start getting this out there. We need to start getting this talked about. Okay? Man, this has been a great night. Thank you guys for being with me. And I'm going to see you on that next live. Probably be midday tomorrow. I got so much information to go through. We're going to hit the township this week too. We got loads of things to talk about. Loads.